told
What was the
one
name
all the
again?
time.
Pardon me. Who?
Some guy called James, LeBron James.
Oh, okay. LeBron James. Is he playing?
Michael Jordan asked with a sly smile, some guy called James. Nobody could have predicted that such remarks would start the greatest scandal in basketball history. Fans were certain the leak originated from the legend himself until a bizarre video appeared online a few days later. The distinction between rivalry and retaliation would become hazy in the aftermath. The video that became viral on the internet. The digital ecosystem of basketball was impacted the morning the video went viral. The identical assertion exploded on Reddit subreddits, Instagram stories, and Twitter timelines. LeBron James's gay video was just revealed by Michael Jordan. While fan forums pieced together theories about how the two most well-known guys in basketball could intersect in something so strangely personal, sports blogs scramble to reconstruct the history. An early Sportsca aggregate claims that the first repost of the purported video came from an anonymous burner account located in North Carolina, a state that has a long history of being associated with Michael Jordan's personal and professional life. After 32 minutes, the account disappeared, but not before the content was screen recorded by influencers like DJ Academics and sports analyst Skip Biss. They all presented it in a unique way. It was mocked by academics as the greatest treachery in hoops history. No one understood what they were truly witnessing, despite Bias's insistence that the clip was obviously manipulated. Commentators were able to construct any narrative they desired onto the original post due to its grainy quality, blurred faces, and distorted sounds. A more complex plot started to emerge from that mayhem, one that centers on Jordan's purported motivation. Jordan had responded to the constant parallels between himself and LeBron during a press conference in Paris 2 months prior. On the surface, his comments were friendly, but afterward, analysts repeated each line as though deciphering hidden meaning. Jordan smirked, hesitated, then gave what many afterward characterized as a calculated dismissive in response to a question regarding LeBron's legacy. In fan culture, the uncut video from the meeting became a forensic artifact.
What was the name again? Pardon me. Who?
Some guy called James, LeBron James.
Oh, okay. LeBron James. Is he playing?
At first, the laughter in the room seemed harmless, but internet editors slowed down the video, focused on Jordan's tiny facial expressions, and wrote a mocking caption. The identical segment reappeared with conspiratorial voiceovers hours after the alleged leak. Jordan was implying that he was aware. Bloggers asserted that the video had to have been time-stamped to appear close to the Paris event, suggesting deliberate intent. It is necessary to review the two figures' decades-long cultural rivalry in order to see why followers considered this plausible. The consumer alpha of the 1990s, Michael Jordan, established his empire by dominating narrative, brand, and image. LeBron James, on the other hand, came into being in the age of digital openness, when every family photo, partnership, and text could be construed as public property. Basketball metrics were never the source of their argument. It had to do with greatness authorship. The morality of basketball would naturally belong to whoever controlled the public narrative of its development. Bleacher Report commentators reminded readers that Jordan's reticent demeanor was legendary. Apart from his promotional responsibilities, he hardly ever made remarks about other players. His jovial comments about Paris came as a shock because of this. Even though it appeared modest, the comedy reignited a rivalry that Jordan had attempted to overlook. Supporters of LeBron see it as disdain. Loyalists of Jordan interpret it as power. Confirmation bias took over when the enigmatic video surfaced later, showing what some said was LeBron's private behavior. Coincidence was combined with conspiracy on the internet. By noon, TMZ had joined the controversy with an article titled, "Jordan Camp Shocked by Viral Clip Allegations." An anonymous representative who denied any link was quoted in the story. Michael has nothing to do with whatever is circulating online, but that denial only fueled speculation. Observers pointed out that Jordan's camp did not categorically denounce the video as fraudulent. They merely kept him away from it. Omission is more powerful than denial when it comes to scandal management terminology. Sports legal experts clarified that two requirements must be met for any leak claim to be credible: authenticity and intent. When a video is authentic, it shows the people the public believes it does. Intent indicates that it was released on purpose. Although neither could be verified, the story was already set in stone. Jordan versus LeBron mythos, in which a master controls his successor's humiliation, was too well suited for the scenario. Social media observers followed the rumor's evolution in real time. It was a fringe tweet at 8:12 a.m. Verified accounts began sharing side-by-side photos of LeBron leaving a Lakers practice and Jordan at the Paris news conference at 9:40 a.m. with the phrase, "Worlds collide." In just 2 hours, TikTok was overrun with AI-generated memes. A smartphone with the captions, "Your move, king," is held by Jordan. There were no pauses in the virality. Jordan's PR firm Jump23, the Charlotte Hornets franchise, and Jordan Brand under Nike all went silent in the meantime. No press announcements, no social media updates, and no explanations. In a media frenzy, silence inevitably turns into a blank area for interpretation. Monologues from YouTube commentators claimed that Jordan's silence was confirmation. Jordan's remarks regarding generational similarities later, in the same news conference, were one of the most often repeated soundbites from that Paris event.
He's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. I know it's a natural tendency to compare eras to eras, and it's going to continue to happen. I'm a fan of his. I love watching him play. But it's, as you can see, our league is starting to expand on very talented players, and I think he's made his mark. He will continue to do so over a period of time. But when you start the comparisons, I think it is what it is. It's just a standard measurement. I take it with a grain of salt.
Under normal conditions, this would have been a compliment. But set against the backdrop of the viral pandemonium, it was presented by critics as ironic flattery. When Twitter users captioned the purported video, the phrase "grain of salt" became viral. MJ responded, "Take it with a grain of salt and a camera roll." USA Today's sports analysts noted that Jordan's language, which acknowledged LeBron's excellence while quietly restating the hierarchy of generations, was standard corporate diplomacy. Conspiracy groups, however, believed that every word was deliberate. The storyline clicked into place when a Reddit post uncovered metadata from the purported leak's upload timestamp, indicating it happened within 48 hours of the Paris summit. Jordan allegedly caused exposure in private after issuing a coded warning in public. The drama provided the public with catharsis, reasonable or not. Overnight, trade speculations gave way to moral analysis on sports talk shows. According to Shannon Sharp, it was the collapse of the concept of invulnerability. In response, Skip Bless said that LeBron's social image was the foundation of his empire. It has now imprisoned him. Millions of views were received by each session, demonstrating that the topic's appeal extended well beyond basketball. Blogs purportedly had information from back-channel insiders regarding NBA communications personnel frantically trying to control the situation. According to The Athlete, a top league official stated, "We can't comment on player-related personal media." That silence mirrored the avoidance behavior common in celebrity crises. Institutions let fan imagination handle the heavy job by declining to define the story. Jordan himself did not appear. No public appearances, interviews, or tweets. The mistrust was heightened by the vacuum. Jordan talked about maintaining control over his image and brand integrity in old interviews that have come to light.
Well, it's not just myself. I think the NBA is very fortunate to have a talented young man who shows a certain passion about the game. And that's something that you can't give. You're either born with it.
Those remarks were misconstrued by many as implying that he was both praising and criticizing LeBron in doublespeak. What the initial context was irrelevant. Reinterpretation fuels virality. According to Google Trends, searches for Michael Jordan LeBron footage surpassed NBA Finals in several countries by the second day. Ironically, the controversy increased sales of both players' products, according to marketing gurus. Online engagement for Jordan Brand increased by 6%, while LeBron's trademark brand experienced a similar uptick. Outrage had turned into business. However, within the pandemonium, shards of genuine human tension surfaced. Supporters went back to a previous interview in which LeBron acknowledged that he and Jordan weren't close. What started off as a benign discussion about mentoring was now seen as emotional foreshadowing.
We don't talk.
Why not, you think?
Because I'm still playing. I'm still focused on my craft right now.
Online psychoanalysis used that one interaction as a Rosetta Stone. The idea changed over time. Jordan saw LeBron's continuing career as unresolved business and a real threat to his dominance. Conspiracy theorists asserted that the purported leak was about hierarchy and a symbolic attempt to regain control, not sexuality. Variety's PR strategists offered their opinions, arguing that Jordan wouldn't require a leak if he really intended to undermine LeBron. He could just tell him better. However, dramatization was favored by viewers above logic. They desired a villain. Jordan was the ideal choice because to his reputation for fierce competition. The provenance of the clip was still unknown by the conclusion of the week. Its cultural impact, however, was irreversible. Michael Jordan was accused of arranging imperfection in another man's life, despite the fact that his entire career represented perfection. The player known for his activism and transparency, LeBron James, unwittingly became a symbol of the perils of fame. Polarization was evident in the comment areas under ESPN and in the intricate posts. Jordan was held accountable by half. Half made fun of LeBron's supporters' credulity. Jordan was portrayed in memes as a puppeteer with digital strings. Doctored screenshots of text exchanges purportedly sent by Jordan to NBA executives were shared by fans. All captivating, none genuine. The gesture was intended to convey neutrality when ESPN rebroadcast the whole Paris news conference without commentary. Rather, it stoked the storm again. However, viewers inferred meaning from each blink, smirk, and pause.
He's a heck of a basketball player, without a doubt.
That straightforward acknowledgement undoubtedly became the meme caption that looped under Jordan laughing parodies. The line separating animosity and comedy had vanished. Experts in crisis management theorized that by this point, LeBron's and Jordan's sides had both fallen into a concerted silence, allowing digital entropy to run its course. It was an established tactic. Allow anger to burn out. However, the endurance of the rumors showed otherwise. The internet isn't waiting for facts anymore. Emotion is metabolized by it. According to reports, Nike called emergency meetings behind the scenes to evaluate the exposure of their brand collateral. Despite having a somewhat independent business model, Jordan Brand shares risk and reputational issues with its parent corporation. If Gen Z viewers saw the purported leak as homophobic violence, executives feared a generational reaction. In order to avoid that, the business subtly raised awareness of its pride-themed advertising campaigns, demonstrating inclusivity without immediately addressing the controversy. A controlled reaction film was allegedly being prepared by LeBron's media company, Spring Hill Entertainment. The Ringer was informed by insiders that editors were going through previous video to portray LeBron as impervious to smear efforts. Despite the lack of official announcements, suspense was maintained by murmurs alone. The story had changed into a morality play at this time. Themes of vulnerability, masculinity, and generational shift were brought up by commentators. LeBron's persona, empathetic, outspoken, and open to technology, was compared with Jordan's image, which was austere, untouchable, and meticulous. The purported leak turned into a symbolic deed. Repression from the old school opposes transparency from the new era. The headline, LeBron-Jordan tensions resurface amid viral hoax, basically called the clip a fraud when CNN's sports division eventually addressed the issue. However, the public perception was hardly impacted by the revision. The truth becomes optional once myth solidifies. Because of this, re-edited versions continued to surface, with clickbait names even after major sites removed the original uploads. Watch LeBron's Private Truth, MJ caught on tape, before it's deleted. The notion that suppression equates to validity was reinforced by each re-upload. there had a significant psychological influence on fan communities. Factional arguments caused Discord groups to disband. Under harassment, moderators resign. After receiving thousands of explicit comments, a LeBron's career subreddit went private. Analysts saw how the rumor was turned into betrayal trauma via parasocial attachment, which makes spectators sense a personal connection to sportsmen. LeBron's fictitious fall seemed like a personal loss to them. The central enigma of this narrative is still unsolved as Part 1 comes to an end. Was there really any connection between Michael Jordan and the widely shared video? Or was his long-standing enmity with LeBron just a ploy by online shady characters? The tale is specifically fueled by the lack of information. Storytelling emerges from silence. Perception turns into proof. The emphasis shifts inward in the following section. Because often the loudest confession isn't stated, LeBron's self-mythology, his own statements from previous interviews, and his complex affection for Jordan unintentionally increased suspicion. People remember it. The unspoken competition and LeBron's quiet. Everyone's attention was on LeBron James by the time the smoke cleared. His first line of defense had been public silence, but the longer he stayed silent, the louder the rumors got. 4 or 5 days in a row, his name topped the global trending list, surpassing even big playoff coverage and political arguments. Supporters were divided between skepticism and sympathy. Some insisted that LeBron clarify the situation. He was cautioned by others that confronting it would validate the lie. For a sportsperson whose reputation is based on openness and self-expression, quietness had its own burden. The Ringer disclosed that inside the first 48 hours, LeBron's crew, media strategists, family advisors, and sponsors allegedly held many crisis calls. The internal command was unambiguous, according to an individual who was mentioned there. Avoid adding fuel to the fire. Allow perception to fall apart on its own. However, perception changed rather than crumbled. Every hour, reinterpretation was requested without comment. Even without proof, anonymous blogs started quoting close friends who said LeBron was genuinely saddened by the widely shared video. Millions of people heard the claims. For background, LeBron and Michael Jordan have long had a paradoxical, ambivalent, and resistant public connection. Despite calling Jordan his idol on numerous occasions, he has never been able to establish a genuine bond with him. During an interview in 2023, LeBron himself admitted to the awkward void. Long before this dispute, the clip was recorded.